Welcome to Sarah Science, where the biggest questions in science become simple, fascinating, and sometimes terrifying. Now imagine this. Tonight, you look up at the sky, but the moon is gone, not hidden behind clouds, not eclipsed, gone. And the strangest part, you wouldn't immediately realize how much Earth had just changed. So, what would actually happen if the moon suddenly disappeared? Let's find out. The first thing you'd notice, if the moon vanished instantly, the first obvious change would be the night sky. The familiar bright disk would simply disappear. The stars would become much easier to see, and nights would become significantly darker. But that's not the biggest problem. The moon is constantly pulling on Earth with its gravity, and that gravitational pull is one of the main reasons Earth's oceans experience tides. So, without the moon, the tides would change dramatically, but not disappear completely. Why? Because the sun also produces tides. The sun is much more massive than the moon, so its gravity is incredibly strong. But because of its enormous distance from Earth, the moon has a greater effect on our tides. Without the moon, Earth's oceans would still rise and fall because of the sun, but the tides would become much weaker. That means many coastal ecosystems that evolved around powerful tidal cycles would suddenly face a completely different world. Then Earth would start changing. Here's where things get even more interesting. The moon doesn't just affect oceans. It also helps stabilize Earth's rotation. Earth is spinning like a giant top, and the moon's gravity helps keep the direction of Earth's axis relatively stable. Remove the moon, and that stabilizing influence disappears. Earth wouldn't suddenly start flipping upside down, but over extremely long periods of time, Earth's axis could become much less stable, and that could create enormous changes in climate. Some regions could experience much more extreme seasonal changes. Imagine summers and winters becoming dramatically different over geological timescales. The planet you know today could slowly become a very different planet. What about Earth's rotation? There's another hidden effect. The moon is actually slowing Earth's rotation. Its gravity creates tidal forces that gradually transfer some of Earth's rotational energy into the moon's orbit. That's one reason Earth doesn't spin quite as fast as it did billions of years ago. If the moon disappeared, that particular braking effect would largely disappear too. But don't worry, you wouldn't suddenly feel Earth spinning faster. There would be no giant explosion, no sudden acceleration, no buildings flying into the sky. The changes would happen gradually. That's the important thing about this scenario. The moon's disappearance would be catastrophic for Earth's long-term future, but not because Earth would instantly fall apart. What happens to animals? Now think about the animals that use the moon. Many creatures rely on lunar cycles to decide when to feed, migrate, reproduce, or hunt. Some marine animals synchronize their behavior with tides and moonlight. Certain species even use the moon as a natural nighttime clock. Remove the moon, and those biological rhythms could be disrupted. Predators that hunt using moonlight would face darker nights. Prey animals could behave differently. Marine ecosystems would experience weaker tides, and over generations, species would either adapt or struggle to survive. The biggest effects wouldn't necessarily happen in one night. They would unfold across years, centuries, and millions of years. Would Earth become completely dark? No. And this is one of the biggest misconceptions. The moon doesn't produce its own light. It reflects sunlight. So when the moon disappears, Earth doesn't lose sunlight. The daytime remains exactly as bright as before. Only the moonlight disappears from the night side. But during a full moon, the difference would be obvious. A normally bright moonlit landscape would suddenly become much darker. For ancient humans who depended heavily on natural nighttime light, this could have been a major change. For modern humans surrounded by artificial lights, it would mostly be an inconvenience, at least at first. Would Earth fly out of orbit? No. This sounds dramatic, but Earth would not suddenly shoot away into space. The Moon orbits Earth. Earth orbits the Sun. The Moon's gravity does affect Earth's motion, but the Sun completely dominates Earth's orbit. So if the Moon vanished, Earth would continue orbiting the Sun. You wouldn't suddenly feel the planet change direction. You wouldn't be thrown from your chair. You wouldn't see the oceans flying into space. Instead, Earth would continue its journey around the Sun while slowly adapting to a new gravitational environment. The biggest consequence comes later. Here's the truly fascinating part. The Moon has been Earth's companion for billions of years. Life evolved under its influence. The oceans evolved under its tides. Animals evolved around lunar cycles. Earth's rotation evolved alongside it. Even human cultures have been shaped by the Moon. Calendars, myths, navigation, agriculture, and countless traditions have all been influenced by that bright object in the night sky. So if the Moon suddenly disappeared tonight, humanity probably wouldn't die tomorrow. The planet wouldn't explode. The oceans wouldn't disappear. But Earth would enter a completely different chapter of its history. Over thousands, millions, and perhaps billions of years, the consequences could become enormous. And that's what makes the Moon so strange. It looks like a simple object hanging in the sky, but remove it, and you begin to realize just how deeply connected it is to Earth. So the next time you look at the Moon, remember this. You're not just looking at a giant rock in space. You're looking at one of the forces that helped shape the world beneath your feet. If this made you look at the Moon a little differently, like this video, subscribe to Sarah Science, and comment below. Would you rather live on Earth with no Moon, or keep the Moon exactly as it is? And if you enjoy discovering what would happen when you change just one thing about our universe, stay with Sarah Science, because there's always another impossible question waiting to be explored.